thanks again for joining me, and I really can't thank you enough for taking 10 minutes out of your day to check out my channel. So I thought it would be great to start this episode off with 5 tips on how to purchase your first ukulele. And I got the idea from a few friends who were asking me for advice on how to pick up their first ukulele, and I thought I'd put together this quick helpful tutorial, and hopefully it'll get you started in picking up your first ukulele. So the first thing I want to focus on for my 5 tips on purchasing your first ukulele is price. That's the first thing you want to look at. You want to look at your budget. You don't want to get something that's too expensive, especially if you're just starting out. You want to get something that's a notch above what you think your ability level is. So if you're a beginner, get something that's more intermediate level, and then you can grow into it. You don't want to get something that you're going to grow out of immediately. And likewise, you don't want to get something that is too cheap. You want to look at the craftsmanship and make sure that the material and the workmanship is up to par, and not something that you're going to grow out of fast. And that'll just get you frustrated as you go along. So be sure to look at your budget. Don't get something that's too inexpensive, and don't get something that's too expensive. Get something that's kind of just right for you and your ability. The second tip for my 5 tips is size. Now, what you want to do is you want to select the comfortable size for your frame. There are 4 primary sizes in ukuleles. There is soprano, concert, tenor, and baritone. And you want to make sure you pick something that's comfortable for you to hold. If you're just starting out, I would go ahead and pick a soprano size or a concert size. And then if you're kind of more intermediate or more advanced player, you should go ahead and select a tenor size. This is a tenor size. This is actually a super tenor size. It has a wider lower bout here, which helps it project a little bit more. But just for the sake of argument, it's essentially a tenor size ukulele. If you're a guitarist, I know a lot of guitarists who like to play baritone ukuleles. Baritone ukuleles are the easiest to transition from a guitar. The bottom 4 strings of a guitar are essentially the same on the baritone ukulele. So that transition is a kind of a seamless one if you're coming from guitar to ukulele. And the sound is kind of familiar to you. The third tip is pickup. You want to ask yourself if you'll ever be performing in front of a group of people on a stage. The only reason why you'll ever need a pickup like this is if you plan to play amplified and in front of a room full of people. Or you could be at a jam session. You might want to be heard. That's the only reason you want to get a pickup. So if you don't get a pickup, it can save you a little bit of money when you're selecting your instrument. A pickup can cost somewhere in the neighborhood of $60 to $100. I've seen some that are also upwards of $200. So something that can add a little bit to your price range if you're not ready to select one. And it's also something that can be added further on down the line. If you don't want to get a pickup now, you can add a pickup. You can always add a pickup later. I've installed pickups in several of my own instruments. So it's something that it's not a deal breaker if you decide to not get a pickup in your instrument. So the fourth thing I want to go over is the material of your instrument, the materials used. So the price of an ukulele can vary drastically depending on what type of material you use. They use to build it. So this one in particular is a premium curly koa model by ʻukulele, and so consequently the price is a lot more than one that is made of composite material or something like a spruce. So you want to make sure that you choose something that is you want to look at the materials and look at the craftsmanship when they built the instrument. I actually own an instrument, a beautiful Alvarez has that is spruce material, and it has composite back and sides, and it is one of the most beautiful sounding and beautiful playing, easily playable instruments that I've ever come across. So just because the price of the instrument, or just because the materials used are not koa, you can still get a fairly high quality sound and playing experience. So definitely take the time to sit there and hold it and see if it's something that sounds good to your ear. And don't get kind of locked in with don't get locked into getting the fanciest woods, because a lot of times the woods are just something that's more the woods are something that is more cosmetic than contributing tonal wise. So definitely something to look at when you're selecting your ukulele. My $150 Alvarez can sound every bit as good as a premium curly koa instrument. So just keep that in mind when you're selecting. And that kind of leads us into my fifth tip: connection. You want to make sure that you have a connection to the instrument that you decide to go with. And for this one, I'm going to go ahead and take my sunglasses off, even though the sun is like blaring right into my eyes. But connection, just like the connection that I'm making to you right now, is a hugely important factor when deciding to purchase an instrument. It's something that it's really indescribable. It's something that you just know is right. When you pick up that instrument, you know that feeling is just perfect, and that instrument is for you. And from the moment you just strum that first, you just know, it's just a feeling that's indescribable. Thanks again for joining me, and I know you could be doing other things, so it means a great deal to me personally that you've taken the time to watch this channel. Be sure to hit the subscription button below, and make sure to tell your friends and all of the ukulele community, all of the music community. I want to send a big, huge mahalo out to you, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Mahalo.